Ladies and gentlemen, I give you my Glaive Warlock build. Infinite overshields, lots of damage, threadlings everywhere, mayhem, anarchy, and above all else, endgame worthy build. My name is C. Cali, and this is my Warlock Strand Glaive build. Let's get into it. Alright, so the breakdown of this build is pretty cool, and there's a lot of moving parts. Not really. There's a lot of kind of specific mods that you need to have on for this to work, but when you get it to work, it's really cool. So we start with this glaive, refusal of the call, which is the only strand glaive in the game, which is important for a couple of reasons I'll get to in a moment. But this can drop from the Pit of Heresy dungeon, so playing that will allow you to unlock this glaive. My role isn't anything crazy. Chain reaction is super nice. Sword logic's pretty good, but I think you can get it with hatchling or slice or something, which would be better for this. So moving on, we have the NPA repulsion regulator. So we're going to kind of be going back and forth between the artifact and the prismatic subclass. So the first two that automatically synergizes, because they're both for glaives, is passive aggressive guard, receiving less damage from combatants that are close to you while you're wielding a glaive. So you have damage resist from that while using it. And then damaging combatants with your glaive suppresses them. And that's important when we go to the prismatic subclass and we look at facet of command. Freezing or suppressing a target reloads your equipped weapons, which is pretty good. So every time you hit something, basically it'll just keep reloading, so you'll never have to reload your glaive. And then the bottom part, defeating suppressed targets creates a void breach. Now void breach with the protective breach, picking up a void breach, gives us an overshield. So every time we're killing an enemy, whether it be with the shot or with the melee, I didn't always talk into that, it'll give us an overshield. And we can just keep looping that. Now to continue with the build, we have your strand weapons, which is now your glaive. Will gain unraveling whenever you gain woven mail. Well, which we have facet of purpose, picking up an orb of power, because we have the strand subclass on, gives us woven mail. So we now, every time we get multi-kills, so we have the strand orb of power creation equipped, and when we have that, we get some kills, we get an orb of power, and now we have unraveling on our strand glaive, which is really good, especially for clearing out large amounts of enemies and just overall damage. Now this one, improved unraveling, increases the amount of damage dealt by unraveling a target. So now we have a really good single person damage, like against a boss or against larger combatants. And testing it out, I do in fact see a significant bump in power when we have that on. Other than that, though, that's the main things. I have volatile flow for picking up orbs because my secondary is choir of one, because I do think this build, just with the glaive alone, is missing some significant single fire damage, so that can be solved with a different kind of heavy weapon. But in my case, I use this, and then I just have something with eager edge on to have more fun with it. And then this doesn't really matter, it could be any one of these. Actually, it should be shatter orbs. When you're breaking a combatant shield, you create an orb of power, which is really good. Now this combo with the glaive and the artifact and the prismatic subclass can work with any class. However, I have built it around a warlock because I feel like it uses it best, especially when comparing it with Verity's brow, which weapon damage final blows with damage type matching your grenade grants death throws, which provide bonus damage and grants grenade energy. So basically I'm using that with the strand grenade, and so we'll be killing opponents, which will be charging up our death throws, which then will increase the amount of damage that have that we have with the grenade, which is really good and also fun to use. And we're running it with Weaver's Call, so every time we get kills we get threadlings. So on top of that we also get these threadlings on top of unraveling, and we also get Hellion, which will add every time we use our class ability. Now we have a Hellion also doing damage. So this is like a glaive, strand, threadlings everywhere, woven mail, damage resist, increased damage with your grenades as well as with your weapons. And then we also have a couple of things like this one, Facet of Hope, elemental buff while you have one, which we will have most of the time. Your class ability regenerates more quickly, so we'll be able to use Hellion more and you throw out our threadlings more. This one's important. Defeating strand or stasis afflicted enemies gives light transcendent energy, which means if I just use this, this might take a second. We'll be back in a moment. Alright, so I have no transcendent energy. I'm going to put on the target player so I can show you the survivability of this. So as soon as we start killing, we get the overshield. And it's not going to be even, but we're still creating a decent amount of light energy. And then, of course, with our Hellion, we'll be creating more light energy, then we can also use our melee and our other weapons. Just back to our glaive. Get that overshield. And you can kind of see how the build is starting to work. And now we've pretty much got an even amount of light and darkness transcendent energy. Alright, and that is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video informative. Please, I implore you to try on this build, expand on it, maybe get some exotic class item in here, maybe get some armor set bonuses. I think the Warmine one might work with this, which would be pretty good. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay frosty, Guardians.